when you're talking about hooking yourself up to higher levels of energy, you can translate that into higher levels of awareness, of course, but you have to be able to handle it. Not I'm a traveler, so not every, I'll use the word soul, not every soul or state of consciousness down here has been here very long. Some just got here to experience at this physical level. You're not going to wake them up, and don't even try. I've tried. You're not going to do it. They're here to have fun. They're here to wreak havoc. They're here to do whatever. I mean, I've had souls here that became hookers, just got here and said, I want to be a hooker. Well, what? I mean, just all kinds of things you can't imagine. You can't change those. You have to only look at the self. Where are you in this journey of activity? Because creation is just your activity. It's just what you're doing. It's not who you are. You're not the physical body. You have to change your perspective. If you can change your perspective from the little self and the little physical body to the consciousness looking down from the heavens, it's a better perspective. It is very important because it's your journey. So the bottom line, I was so having fun traveling to different worlds and different lands, different dimensions and all this, and training students and all this. And then this voice came to me as I was traveling. I don't know where I was going. And this voice came through me that said, "Who's the traveler, my friend?" And it woke me right up. I go, yeah. I've been about traveling and creation, but I haven't been about what I'm seeking, the self. Who the heck am I? Who is the traveler traveling? Who is the one that's using this physical embodiment? Who's the one using your emotional embodiment? Is it you? And who's the one using your mind? Is it you or someone else? I mean, you just really got to get to who you really are. And the only way you can do that is you have to drop mind. You have to drop thought. Anything that's a preconceived idea, anything that's a computer, that's the mind. That's the causal, past and future. No, everything is right now. Time is just a succession of nows.
Thank you, Dr. Morse. And I love that you bring the consciousness into it. Actually, on that topic, I find that sometimes people in the raw vegan movement are a little bit ignorant of that and are very dogmatic about what's right for you, and sometimes ignore the impact and the power of consciousness on our food. So where do you find the right balance between understanding that we're consciousness and those infinite possibilities and respecting the physical and the matter and how it's designed and aligning with that?
God, well, that's a good question, because anything in creation is, I hate to use the word a dime a dozen. Experiences are a dime a dozen. You can have whatever you want. There's really nothing sacred about the experiences, to be honest with you. They come and they go. You can be in it. Listen, the human body, you've had a lot of bodies before, and that's you. And so you've been embodied a lot. And it's learning, what have I been doing? If you want to look back on the Akashic records and see your journeys, that's available, of course. But it's all going to bring you away from all the externals. Why do we go in? Why do we take a minute and go within ourselves anyway? We go in to get out, right? You go in to get out. You remove your attention. What is meditation? What's contemplation? You're removing your attention off of, supposedly, creation. Now, if you want to just travel, you move your attention to somewhere else. Move it to the ceiling, move it to the beach, move it to the woods. Learn how to move yourself out of your body. But that's not who you are. So it's a journey of aloneness. It's a journey of deep aloneness. And when you start getting into the higher levels, it starts peeling you away like an onion. Your body starts dropping away from you. And then you start seeing more and more who you really are. And in the higher levels of the mind, which is a lot by Holmes, wrote a lot about the universal mind. But the universal mind is that little thin sheath that all minds come from. But at that point, you see that everything, literally everything, comes from the same source. You're not quite in all of it yet, but you start to see everything. That's the pure mind. Everything is coming from the same source. It's just individualized and expressing itself in that individuality in that particular segment of activity, or if you want to use the word time. But it isn't, all of this just comes back to, it's just it. I've said this on a video the other day. Consciousness can't experience itself. It can't experience itself because it's totally in the now and it's infinite. So this is where you are. This is who you are, and you've got to be able to handle getting into these high levels again. It's amazing what, it's almost like to achieve a raw food or a high fruit diet, at least 70% of your diet, you're going to see a lot going on. Your cells in your body are going to lift their awareness up. You're going to see cells come out of their genetic slumber and into the original blueprint again. You're going to see things that were genetic go away. It's just amazing to see how the body realigns itself in these higher levels of energy. And so when you look at and you ask the question, why do we eat in the first place? Right? You have to look at that. We eat for what? About 75 trillion cells. We're not eating for your pleasure. You can, and you should, but fruit is already pleasurable. And if you pick it ripe off a tree, a berry ripe off a vine, where do you get better taste than that? Where do you get a better taste than a ripe peach right off a tree? A ripe pineapple. How about those golden pineapples from Hawaii? A ripe one, right? I mean, you eat them and you're in nirvana. But that's the way it's supposed to be, but we've gotten into cooking and processing and killing our animals and eating them. And it's just, it's a mess. The Homo sapien got themselves in a mess. So it's about your group, everybody. You said it, the light bearers coming down in this. When I came to this lower world, there was a lot of beings that came with me. So you're going to see light bearers popping everywhere, hopefully, to see what's going to happen here. I used to think I knew, but it's pretty crazy.
I love that, and that you share so much about our awareness, our consciousness, and at the same time, when you shared, it made me think of the work of, let's say, someone like Joe Dispenza that does a lot of healing through the simple power of consciousness. But when I think of you, I definitely think of someone who has that awareness of consciousness, but also as a healer that's been working mainly through the physical, right? Like proper diet and the herbs. So I guess that's an important element.
Well, most people in the spiritual worlds have heard of the chakras, and most of them are starting to learn that the chakras are linked to your endocrinology. And so, when you start hydrating and you start bringing in higher energy and alkaline electrons, you start seeing all this acid and all this mucus and all these proteins start leaving the body. So it's just, I don't know where I was going to go with that, but it just brings a higher order to everything. Your body. My cells in my body used to cramp when I'd be out of body and come back. My cells couldn't handle the energy I was putting through my body. And so it took a while for my cells, but then I realized I had to balance my diet out a little bit. I had to add a salad, even though we don't digest salads well, we're not herbivores, but it brought energetic balance. And I think that's really important for some of your listeners that get way out there, because there's some that are doing dry fasting, extensive times of dry fasting. I don't recommend that. Water fasting, that's cool, whatever you want to do with that. I've had people go 3 and 4 years on fruit, 3 and 4 years on vegetable juices and stuff. And I've been able to see the difference in the power of what it does within the human body. But part of understanding health is understanding your lymphatic system, how we teach it.